Hey, what's up guys? It's Exumer talking to you here, and today I'm going to talk about the iPad Pro 2021 and the differences that are between the two sizes, and if is it worth it to upgrade from a 2020 or a 2018 iPad Pro. Before we start, I'm just going to say that I don't think that Apple is done yet. I think they will upgrade the iPad Pro 2021 with software features. So I think this April event was a hardware preparation for WWDC, which I mean is, I think that Apple put 16 gigabytes of RAM or 8 gigabytes of RAM. I think they put 2 terabytes. I think they gave the iPad Pro the M1 chip because in WWDC in June 7 they will release Pro app support. So if this is a big thing for you, upgrade to this new iPad. I'm almost 100% sure about it, and I'm not the only one. But if you don't care about this much, I will tell you the differences that are between the two sizes of the iPad Pro and if it is worth it to upgrade from a 2020 or 2018 iPad Pro. Spoiler alert, I think it is. So, the iPad Pro 2020 has two sizes, 11 inches and 12.9 inches, the same sizes that came in the 2018 and 2020 iPad Pros, but with some differences. The 12.9-inch iPad Pro from 2021 features a better display, a mini LED one, which is even better, and it's almost OLED-like without the consequences and drawbacks from the OLED panels that Apple uses and Samsung uses. So the iPad Pro 12.9 inches has a mini LED liquid retina XDR display, which is the same crap that the Pro Display XDR uses. So, in my opinion, this is the best display they could put on an iPad. Though, the iPhone 11 inches features a liquid retina display, probably because they couldn't fit a normal liquid retina XDR on that small device. Probably it will overheat, in my opinion. I don't know, Apple didn't explain it why. But they feature the same M1 processor, which is quite incredible. As we saw, the performance on the M1 MacBook Air or even the M1 MacBook Pro were just amazing. But I think that this iPad will have a performance closer to the MacBook Air because that's a fanless design, just like the iPad. So if you want performance and you think you will use that performance, because right now there's not much you can do with the performance coming from the M1 when compared to the A12Z or A12X. But if you are using some app that you think that you need more performance, go for the iPad Pro 2021. Between these two sizes, the differences are almost none. As I talked about before, the display is the only one. You have the same M1 processor and the same wide field view cameras, front and back. So there's no difference there. Even on the ports, you have the same Thunderbolt 3 port, which was upgraded. They upgraded the USB-C to get 4 times the performance, so now you get 4 gigabytes per second, and before it was 10 on the normal USB. So that's cool. You have now USB 4 on your iPad Pros to transfer data quickly. But I think Apple missed an opportunity to give the iPad 2 ports, 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports, because the M1 supports that. Secondly, they upgraded the RAM, very quietly too. So they gave the iPad 11-inch 2 more gigabytes of RAM, and if you go for the 2 terabyte option or even 1 terabyte, they will give you 16 gigabytes. The 12.9-inch is the same story. So the only difference between these two you can see here is just the display. So if you like the smaller size and you don't care much about the display, go for the 11-inch. It's such a great iPad, but I probably think that much more people will go for the 12.9-inch because they will think they are missing on a great display. Though the 11-inch keeps the same price at $799, while the iPad Pro 12.9-inch goes up $100, now at $1099. So if you're that kind of guy that has a tight budget and doesn't want to spend more than $1,000 on your iPad, you will have to go for the 11-inch. That's because the iPad Pro 2021 12.9-inch starts at $1,100, which is a bit expensive. So it has increased by $100 when compared to last year and the years before. But that's also good, because Apple introduced on this new 12.9-inch iPad Pro a new display. This new display features mini LED, and it's called Liquid Retina XDR. It has 10,000 mini LEDs behind it, which increases the contrast ratio to the millions, and leaves the brightness up to 1000 nits stably, so the iPad Pro can keep its brightness at 1000 nits, and when needed for HDR content can increase it to 1600 nits, which is mad. Even your iPhone can do that, so that's pretty cool. That's better than a TV actually. So they put pretty much the Pro Display XDR in a smaller and thinner version. So this iPad is really a Swiss knife from the Apple lineup, because it's the perfect product. If you see, it can replace your iPad Pro or your older iPad, it can replace your Mac line, and with 5G, it can probably almost replace your iPhone. But Jesus, this is a monster of the device, and it kills every other tablet on the market and probably computer too of its size and price. So when compared to the MacBook Air and MacBook Pro, I think that the performance will be closer to the MacBook Air, as I told you before, because they are fanless. Also, this new iPad features a new camera setup, which its front camera has a better, wider lens, which unlocks a very good feature that Apple shows on the keynote that I think it's pretty cool. It's center stage. Now, with center stage, your iPad can follow you when you are in a FaceTime call. So it can pan around and follow you if you are moving. For example, as Apple showed us here on the keynote, this guy is moving and you can see that the iPad is following his movements like it was on a HomePod stand. But it works differently, because the iPad, although it's using its 1x lens to film you and pass the image through FaceTime with 1x, it's using its 0.5 lens or its ultra-wide lens to create a wider spec. And when it needs to, it moves and creates this seamless movement with this 1x and half x lens, creating this perfect image and illusion that your iPad is moving, which is not. So, it's like weird, but it's pretty cool. So essentially it zooms in with your wide lens until it's 1x and it moves around with its image, which is pretty cool. Finally, this new iPad Pro 12.9 inch and 11 inch too feature Thunderbolt 3 in one port, but I think that Apple missed out not giving it two Thunderbolt 4 or Thunderbolt 3 ports or USBs 4. So if they had, they probably would kill most of its MacBook Air and MacBook Pro line. The entry-level Macs, I say. I think that its new iMac, it's pretty cool. And if you like that new iMac, I have a video here comparing it to the Mac Mini M1, of course. And if you like the iPad Pro and you don't know if you should buy the 2021 iPad Pro or the MacBook Pro 14 inch that is coming later this year, also I have a video here too on my channel. I hope you are enjoying these types of videos. I'm making more videos this week than usual, so don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment down below also. This was Tech Sumer talking to you here. Bye.